Well guys, out here late in the day. Right now there's a tornado warning in effect for the area, but I'm limited in time and trapping season's right around the corner. So I get the fire going. You see the big pail off to the side here, and I got not all my traps, but a good portion of them, or at least some different ones. I have some 120 conibears, some number 3 coil springs, and some inch and 3/4 coil springs. So we're gonna do some trap prep. Stay with me. Alright, so some creek water. Ain't the cleanest, but you don't need clean. I got that on the boil in the big pan here, and then once it gets hot enough, get all them traps to boil. Alright, so like I said, it's late in the day. Probably gonna run out of light here soon. I'll show you guys as much as I can with a couple lights perhaps as it gets darker here. But we're gonna boil these traps up, hang them up for a couple days, and then we'll get to the next process. One thing, just first off, I've done a ton of research on this. You know, I'm no expert. This is going to be my first trap line of my own, so this is all new stuff to me. But I've done a lot of research online, and you know, you can only get so much from that. So to just, you know, read something from some trapping site or whatever, and come out here and try to do it, there's quite a learning curve, especially in trapping, as well as other things, but probably more so in trapping. There's things that you need to know, and you only get that with experience. So the other thing I've done, you know, the research online, watching as many videos as I can on the topic. I've also got to talk to a few guys that I found through the internet, but you know, over the phone, kind of give me some tips along the way of stuff that just didn't quite add up on the internet. And this is one of them. A lot of people that trap already know this, but boiling your traps is a very important process in trap prep. There's a couple reasons for that. One is, let me just grab a couple and show you. And a couple different ones. Alright, so this is just a Duke number 3. And you can see it's all nice and shiny. And that's kind of what you expect, you know, when you're purchasing traps, new anyways. So if you're ordering them off the internet, we sell them on our site as well, but you know, a lot of places on the internet you can find them, and just general trapping stores that you can walk into. That's what you're expecting to buy when you buy a new trap. Clean, shiny, the thing's brand new. So how does it stay that way? Well, obviously there's oil on it. So they stay nice and they don't rust up. I got another 120 here, conibear, same thing, nice and shiny, and you can feel some of the oil on it. This is another 120 that I took out when I was building my marten and mink boxes, and I left it out, so it did start rusting up a little bit. And that's actually the ticket. That's what you want. So part of the reason we boil traps is to get all that oil and stuff from the factory off of them, because we don't need that. The second thing is we want them to start rusting up just like this. Now you don't want the trap to rust where it gets, you know, pitted and stuff like that, but you want a light surface rust over the whole thing, and that's going to allow, when you go to dye your traps or speed dip them, if that's what you choose to do, that's going to allow that dye or that speed dip to stay on the trap, opposed to, you know, a nice oily shiny trap. So that's the reasons we do that. Again, it's an important process in trap prep. So that's what we're starting out with. Once we get these traps boiled, I'm going to string them up here, like I said, for a couple days. Wait till they rust up a bit, and then we'll get to the next step. So stay with me. Once I get to boiling these, I'll chime you guys back in and we'll take a look. Guys, so got a slow rolling boil in here now, so we'll start throwing our traps in. We start out with the 120s here. So while we're doing this, might as well just cover another myth, I guess you could call it. Again, when I was first doing my research, something I read was when you're boiling your traps, you don't want to leave them in there too long, that it'll change the temper of your steel, you know. And I don't know much about steel, you know, I'm a carpenter, work with wood. So when I first read that, kind of made sense to me, you know. Alright, don't leave them in there too long, it's hot, you know, change the temper of my steel. I definitely don't want to ruin my new traps, so, you know, I chalked that up as a remember that. Well, again, after talking to, you know, trappers that do this year in and year out for years, that's pretty much a myth. I also read, you know, you could put bricks in the bottom of your, whatever you're boiling your traps in to keep your traps off the metal on the bottom of this. Again, you know, for the sake of not changing the temper of the steel. But after talking with the trapper, you know, and this is how I get a lot of my information on things that I learn. I like to listen to people that make friggin' sense, first of all. So he told me, and he actually is a steel worker for many years, and he said it's a myth because there's water in here, and you'll never ever get that water hot enough where it's going to change the temper of a steel trap. And as soon as he said it to me, it just made total sense, you know. Yeah, absolutely. That water is never going to get hot enough to ruin my steel traps. So just figured I'd throw that out there for any of you that were interested and weren't really sure, like I was, you know, when I was doing my research. But again, to me, it just made sense. So I'm not going to worry about it. As we go along in this trap prep series, I have a couple more things I'll share with you guys at different stages along the same lines, you know. There's definitely different techniques to doing things, you know, a lot of different ways. Doesn't mean it's right, doesn't mean it's wrong. And that goes for a lot of things, but you know, as far as dyeing your traps and waxing them, stuff like that, you know, I read some same things on different ways to do it, and then after talking, you know, one-on-one with people that actually do this stuff, they have better ways, you know, so it cuts down on that learning curve. Save yourself some time and hassle, and having to re-clean traps after you've already done them, you know, later on in the future. But we'll get to that in another video. We'll take them out, throw another batch in, and when we're done, we'll get them hung up and start aging them a bit so we can dye them. Alright guys, so first batch pretty much done. Get these out of here, start another batch. You can see the light's going away on me. And my primitive tongs here. Scoops them up pretty good though. Alright, this is all the number 3 coil springs, 6 3/4 coil springs. I think I got a dozen and a half 3-inch here today. I still got a shitload more back at the house. I do have some MB 550s soft touch, but I'm gonna speed dip those white. Do a video for you guys on that. Take them out, and I got one more pail. I don't know, half a dozen more number 3s. And then I got a half a dozen 220s for my Fisher Cat traps. So that'll be it for the traps I'll be boiling and prepping, you know, the next few days anyways. And then I'll have a good start. And later on, closer to the season or when I get some time, I'll do a bunch more traps. Like I said, I got a ton still at the house, so that's it. Alright, I'll show you guys if I don't lose too much light here. Once these are done, I'll get some hung up and I'll show you that. Alright guys, filming by light here now, so hope you can see. These dudes are done. Got a smaller bucket, I think it's a 5-gallon, I think it is. Something like that. That's what we'll be waxing in when that time comes. But I'll go get these hung up and I will show you guys what I got so far. Alright guys, try to show you this best I can here. Alright, so there's all my 120 traps. There's a dozen of those. Again, those are for my marten and mink boxes. Just got 3 more number 3 coil springs sitting on the cardboard underneath there, waiting for the next batch. And I got 3 piles over here. We got on the left there's a half a dozen 1 3/4 coil springs, and then the 2 beside that are both 5 packs of number 3 coil springs. So I got 5 on there, the 3 more on the cardboard, well actually 10 on there on the line there hanging, 3 more on the cardboard, it's 13, and I have, I believe, 5 more, so I have a dozen and a half of those all together, and then I got a half a dozen 220s in the pot now as well. So I will finish these up tonight, maybe tomorrow. I got some other videos I'm doing, but if it's nice out, I think they're calling for rain, but I'll get you guys a better shot of these hanging up. Can shoot some other videos tomorrow, and in a couple days we'll finish the process on these. So maybe we'll see you tomorrow.
Hey guys, it's a pretty nice day here in the north. I think it's about plus 23 out. A little bit too warm for my likings anyways, you know, I'd rather have -5 or -10. You know, it's too damn hot, not used to the warm weather. Anyways, summertime, huh? I'm thinking we'll say screw the yard work and we'll just jump on my river boat and go catch some fresh pike. There's lots of them. You know, me and Charlie will be pretty hungry. So I think we'll go down river, catch some pike, have a good outside fish fry. Me and old Charlie boy. Hey, Charlie. Yeah, the yard work could wait. You know, gotta have a little bit of fun, huh? Still gotta repair my river boat. Hey, my boy, don't even think about it. You're on bear duty, you prick. You watch for bears, guard or fish. You listen.
Morning, guys. Well, day 2. Freaking rained all night. Go have a look at the traps. Got them hanging up out there. Let's take a look. Alright, so we got 5 left. We get 3 220s, the dozen 120s in the middle, 3 more 220s on the right side there. And like I showed you last night, you got 2 5-packs over there of number 3 coil springs, half a dozen 1 3/4. And down here, kind of ran out of room, just threw some cardboard down. I got 8 more number 3 coil springs. The conibear traps are starting to rust up. It's only been one night, and it rained all night. You can see the rust on there, I think. So all the conibears pretty much look like that. The coil springs got a little rust on them, not much, but good to know that, you know, it's gonna take you a good couple years. If you have brand new coil springs, I mean, they're still pretty much shiny. So it's gonna take a couple, 3 years for them things to get really seasoned. So you know, they're not gonna be perfect by any means. But I'm gonna let them sit out. Hopefully we get no more rain today. Get some sun out here and some humidity, and that'll get them aging a little bit better. So there's step 1 in the trap prep process. Very important, like I said earlier. You want to make sure you boil your traps, get all that oil off them, let them start seasoning, rusting up a bit. That way when you go to dyeing them, it'll take better to the traps. So thanks for tuning in for this one, guys, and as soon as we start the dyeing process, you know, I'll take you guys along for that one. But this is pretty much the only waiting period. Once you go to dye them, you can dye them, hang them up. As soon as they're dry, you can start waxing them. So that'll go a little bit quicker. But we're gonna let them hang up, like I said, and see you guys on the next step.